Hello. Yes, got a little bit of a glare. Let me see if I can fix that. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. I have boxes in front of this. So just bear with me. How's that? Does that help? No. Hang on. I'm still working on it. Gotta get over here. Oh my. There we go. That should help a little bit. That's a little bit better. What you think? A little bit better? Sort of? Okay. I know there's still a glare on my glasses, so hello, everybody. I know there's still a glare on my glasses, but it's all going, you won't be seeing that soon. I'm going to be switched around, and you'll be facing this wall that's in front of me that you can't see. That's where I'll be. So, welcome everybody. And I had so many questions yesterday about. Okay, let me talk about the big thing, that CERN thing. And I'm not concerned about the CERN. Just an FYI, it's not in my mind sort of thing. But I know many other people are very concerned of how that is going to relate to them spiritually. And if the audio isn't that good, I apologize for that too. I'm still looking for the cord. I thought I put it all together. But anyways, so the thing is, it's with the CERN, okay, everybody's talking about the black hole. Remember that for everything, there is an opposite, right? So if there's a black hole, there's a white hole, okay? So there is an opposite to whatever there is. And, in the theory of relativity, if there's something, in the vibration over here, there's something out here in the vibration that is of similarity of it. So there's two parts of it. There's two parts. There's a black hole and then there's a white hole. And I really had to do some research and really kind of look into this. So with Aquarius is about inversion. So whatever you see, and I don't like this with my glasses, whatever you see is an opposite. So there's an opposite to it. So an inversion. So the whole hole, the white hole is a freedom. It is a freedom to roam. A black hole is a suction. It's sucking you in. But where is it sucking you into? Like what is that other side to it? So there is the idea that CERN is trying to create understanding timelines. Now, when I was looking into this, it started me to when I was talking about all those different timelines that I was seeing and all these different timelines that are coming together, right? And move the baseball cap. What baseball cap? Maybe so you don't get a glare. Oh, try a baseball cap. Oh, baseball. No. Baseball cap. You won't see a baseball cap on me, Shar. Sorry. That's just one of my bougie things. Like I do have some bougie things. And yeah, one of those things, no. Ain't gonna happen. Just we're gonna have to put up with it for a little bit. This is where it's trying to understand. So when I was seeing, I still see many different timelines coming in. And there is this energy of this timelines that are coming forth, right? And here it is for understanding, it's understanding the timelines and the stargates. And that is, that is a lower level, more intensity, and especially after 2012. So we all have been creating our own wormholes, right? We've all been creating our own timelines on what it is that we are being sucked into. So start to begin to think of, what are you being sucked into? What have you been sucked into? And it is to understand the divine more. So here's this energy that we can piggyback on to create more of that timeline of that energy that we want to create. And this is creating these time portals. And the white hole is the open and freedom. So we have say a black hole, and then we have the white hole, and then we have the exteriors on either side. Now there's a crossing, and the crossing is the event horizon. And in the center is what we would call the part of fortune. Okay, that's what it looks like in astrology and in the heavens. So understanding relativity is important. And the black hole is the white hole. And CERN, the power and control of your own timeline. It's not, and that's where the energy is. So start to focus on your timeline, on what you are wanting to create, and the different levels. And it's important for us to really feel it, because this is where we are rising through the darkness. Now, I've talked about that before, about rising out. We're rising out of the underworld. We're rising out of to go and reach to a higher place, to a higher evolution. People talk about the fifth dimension and rising to the eighth dimension, or whatever dimension you're rising to. This is us rising out of the darkness. And as we're doing this, is much more of the timeline of the horizon, timeline. So this is where don't go into the south node, which is in Scorpio right now, into the crazy illusions and fears, where the north node is all about what are the seeds that you are planting, and where is the structures that you are wanting to go forth and create. And there is infinite terror there, and there's infinite bliss there. So remember, whatever there is an opposite to everything. And when you are looking at those opposites, so if there is, if there's infinite terror, then there's got to be infinite bliss with anything. And so this is where we are beginning to look at it. And same way with the economy right now. We're in a recession, and I'm going to talk about that. So that's what I've learned so far about CERN. I may bring it up here and there again, just because I know a lot of people are freaking out about it, and I don't think there should be a freak out about it. I don't feel a freak out about it. I feel it is more, and some people have said they found the God particle. Well, if they found the God particle, then why are they starting it up again? That's just my question. So my notes for today, I do have notes. So today, this is where there's a lot more. Of course, there's a lot of energy coming in. We have Mars in it's just not, it's okay. When I get an urgency and think that, this is what you guys have to focus on, I'll let you know. Like I let you know. When I say, hey, there's an urgency on food and you got to start doing shit, there's an urgency, right? This is where, I'm going to talk a little bit about history today. I'm going to talk about what is going on in the world today, and what that's meaningful for you, and how you are able to refocus for your own self. Okay, so let's take a sip of coffee. Need a sip of coffee. So today, with Mars in Taurus, this is identifying as we are. So stepping into what it is. So what is on your top shelf? What is that you are wanting to reach for? So looking at your top shelf, what is that you are wanting to strive for, right? And Uranus is going to 18 degrees. So we have Uranus that is moving to 18 degrees, and that's the last degree it'll be at for this year. And why is that important? Well, the last time Uranus was there, in our time, sort of our timeline, was May 1939. And this is moving into odd territory. So putting things at its highest value. Uranus, it is the God self. What are you putting at your highest value? And this is where today we have the sun in Cancer, but we also have the moon in Libra, and it's squaring the sun, and the sun is conjunct with Sirius. Sirius is it is a beautiful energy of reaching to the stars, of reaching to what is important to you, right? And this is where it is, with that, it's opposite Chiron. And so the sun is squaring Chiron, squaring the sun, and the moon is opposite Chiron, which makes a T-square. This T-square is pressure. So there's a lot of emotional pressure. There's a lot of emotions that are coming in, and emotional pressure on how to balance our lives to be better. So we feel that. We're going to be feeling that internally. We're going to be feeling, I got to balance this. I got to have all of this. Okay. This is okay. Remember, it's a feeling that you're going to be having. And this is for us to look at what is better in our value. So we have Uranus in Taurus with Mars in Taurus, Venus ruled, Moon, Venus ruled, Libra. Venus is about your values, about what you are wanting to create for yourself and bring that in to a balance for you. Okay? So we have this Venus ruled energy that's coming in. And this Venus ruled energy, is letting us know. And we also have the North Node in Taurus. So the North Node being in Taurus is, what are you striving for? This is the mouth of the dragon. This is like, what are you going on? What are you wanting to grab hold of, right? So what are you grabbing hold of in your life? What is that is of importance? Now you got to remember, this is of the first, this is the second sign in the zodiac. So when you look at the second sign, so we got the first of I am. This is I am. I'm stepping out. Aries, the head. Now this is, how am I putting that forth? How am I manifesting that into form? Because it's Earth. I want to make it form. I want to make it here. This is fundamental, right? So when we look at Taurus, this is fundamental. And what is our connection to others? What is my connection? When we look into the opposite to Scorpio, and with this Scorpio energy, it is about our connections to a group, to others, to what do we have, to banks, to our taxes. What are we affiliated with within the financial? And what is that affiliation with maybe a group or taboos? And our fears. So this is looking at, is like, how are we stepping out of our fears and into our bliss? And how are we stepping into our bliss in order for us to strive for our highest selves and what is on the top shelf, and hold at the highest, and don't, and allowing ourselves to keep going, because with Jupiter in Aries, it's about expansion. It's about expansion, about what you are wanting to start and what you are wanting to begin. And when you are looking at what you are wanting to begin and what you are wanting to strive for, you need to keep expanding. And Jupiter will be retrograding on July 27th. So we have this energy of wanting to expand, of wanting to strive, of wanting to go forward. Okay? Now Mercury is in Cancer. And it's at 3 degrees. So it's just starting to sort of get into the feelings of it all, being able to express your feelings, to vocalize your feelings. Now remember, Mercury is the god of communications. What is the emotions that you are trying to converse with others, right? And we are coming into the halfway point to Cancer. So we're coming into that halfway time of Cancer. And this is where the moon is the only thing on one side of the zodiac. So it is looking at everything. And this is to empty the spaces of what I want to connect with and what I don't want to connect with. So I am looking at what is it that I want to connect with? What is my priority? Where am I going towards? And how is that important to me, right? And as Honeybee's just saying, she's buying gold right now. Awesome. If you're able to buy gold, or if you're able to buy silver, this is a time to look at that investment. And you can look at it in a tangible way, not so much as when I say invest, maybe buy gold coins, and going to a reputable place where you can get gold jewelry, things like that, because that is worthy, that's worth money, that's worth something, right? So this is not easy to say. This is not easy. So, especially when we are looking at what we are wanting to connect and who we want to connect with. And sometimes, it's not easy. It is not easy to say to somebody, you know what, I'm really not interested in that project. I really don't want to go forward on that project, or I don't want to really, you know what, I don't have time to spend time with you right now. Allowing yourself the truth is important. Saying that is important to others. And that's honoring yourself and honoring that person, because you're not wasting their time. You're not wasting the time with the project. You're not wasting the time with whatever else. But it's one of those things that as humans we want to, we want to make, I want to make everybody feel good. We're in Cancer season, right? I don't want to offend you. Oh my God, I feel all your feelings. Okay, this is where you really have to take a step back, get into the grounding, get into the Taurus energy, and say, what is it that is my priority for my higher self? Where am I striving to? And it's, and as I say, it's not easy. This is not an easy feat to do. This isn't easy to just get up and start saying these things or doing these things. And so this is where the energies are at. And this is what we're working through in order for us to get to the other side, especially as we are going to be going through a very heavy July and August. And then, as I've said to people, October and November are going to be crazy. Energetically, that's going to be crazy. We are going to, we may be feeling scattered, overwhelmed, the feelings of lack coming in October, November. So this is right, let me prepare. Let me look at, this is my priority. This is what I need to be doing for myself. This is what I need to be doing for my family, and in the energies that I want to go to. Now, when I say this, the thing is, people want this happening like that. I want to do it now. I'm putting that energy in there, and it's going to happen now. No. Remember, what you are manifesting right now, what you are living through right now, is what you manifested 6 months ago. Whether you consciously or unconsciously did it. Okay, that's on average. So now you're thinking, this is where what are my priorities? This is where I'm moving towards. I'm moving towards this, and it's going to take at least, starting to unfold within 6 months to a year and a half. That's the way the energies work. You might be seeing things show up a little bit faster, but for the full completion of the cycle, it's usually a year and a half. Okay? And that's what is so important in how we think, and not get into the fear about the CERN thing, get in fear about other things. Now, the other part I'm going to be bringing out is where Uranus is. Uranus is going at 18 degrees. Now, why is Uranus significant? Well, because he's in a sign that every time when he does in a certain sign, there's a correlation to history. Wherever the planets are, there's a correlation to history and what was unfolding at the time. Now with Uranus, and this is what, this is where we are coming into a way more crazier time than 1938, where that is where Uranus, when he gets to 18 degrees, was. So we start to look at, okay, what was happening in 1938, and why is it more crazier? Because we have the North Node with us this time. Last time it was the South Node. So the North Node was in Scorpio, and the South Node was in Taurus. So this was like going through a lot of our fundamental fears. Now it's easy for us to go back into that because that is what we know. We know that cycle. We understand that cycle, even though we don't like it. And I could do the example for somebody who's been on, say, social services, and you're in that cycle, right? You get used to it. You may not like it, but you get that check every month. It feels like there's that support or something there supporting you. When you come off of it, you feel like the only support you have is you, even though that's the only support you always had was you, because you're 100% responsible for your own reality. But it's coming out of that. Now we can go further of when the first ingress happens. That means the first time that, within a cycle was in 1856. Now 1856, we also had the Jupiter-Uranus or Jupiter-Neptune conjunction in Pisces. So, and now we have the similarities, where Jupiter is going to be going back into Aries. They're not going to be exactly that same conjunction and stuff as it was before. But this is looking at what was going on in 1856, which was the starting of the American Revolution. There was many other things that were going on around the world when it comes to a revolution. We're coming into where this is where, what was happening in May of 1939. Now, what's interesting is that you pull up and you start to sort of compare the histories of what's going on. Japan watching Russia, China. Well, recently, Japan or China, or Russia and China were just circulated. Japan is on the lookout and watching what's going on with them because they were very close to their border, their borders within the ocean, and doing a circle around there. So I found that very interesting. There was the Dutch War, there was the British policy, the Spanish Civil War was going on. The other thing that I found interesting, and Leo King brought it up, was Plan Z. Plan Z, and I'm like, what, Plan Z? Like, what is Plan Z? Because it sort of triggered something like, what does that mean? Well, okay, Plan Z was Hitler's, it was Hitler's plan. He had a Plan Z. Well, where else have you seen the Z? We've seen the Z on a lot of the missiles and stuff within Russia, and on the side of different military vehicles. It was also on Epstein's house, the Z. And I found that so interesting. So there's a correlation with that. And there's a correlation with the UK-Russia Z symbol. And that was Adolf Hitler's Plan Z. And that was for September of 1939. And this is where we start to look at, okay, what's been going on? Well, recently, just on July the 4th, and I said July the 4th was going to be a kind of crazy day, but with everything all happening, NATO has sent 300,000 troops. 300,000 troops are ready. Now, this is where it's under a new commander. His name is Christopher Cavalli, who's an American. And they're also, so the U.S. NATO general is taking over. And Lloyd Austin was also there, which is an American. And there's also another general that was there who is under Trump, but he is now under Biden. Now, the thing is that means the United States has now taken over NATO. United States is in charge of NATO with all the troops. Now remember, don't get caught up in this. It's having the awareness of it, but don't get caught up in it. This is that now it's like, okay, I get it. This is what's happening. Because we are also in a huge energy force that is coming in to create a lot more for us in amongst the other stuff that is going crazy. You know, where when you get into the economy of it and start to look at it, car sales are down over 20, the lowest they've ever been in 25 years. So we have low car sales. The housing bubble is starting to dwindle and starting to burst. There's more houses going into what is it called, bankruptcy, or the banks taking them over, and than you've seen before. But this is to remember to not get caught up with this, okay? And we need to pay attention to what we are doing, pay attention to where our thoughts are, where our energy is. And I mentioned, you know, with everything that's happening, especially within Europe, and the euro is the lowest it's been since 2002. So the euro is really low. So Germany, France are all going to be going through this huge recession or depression, whatever you want to call it. And this is where it's really being aware of your surrounding, of where you want to go and where you want to be. And this is also that feeling of rising through the darkness and us rising. So there's much more on the timeline, much more on the horizon. So don't get lost in the South Node illusions and the fear that's coming, that is, you know, coming forth, because there is, you know, as I say, the infinite terror or the bliss. And the more we start to be aware of this and how it is affecting our world, the more we are going to be able to step out of this darkness. And looking into the positive things that are going on within the world, the healthcare, you know, the amount of new healthcare and the technology that's coming in, and what is going to be coming out of all of this. We're also, you know, through this, we're hearing a lot about, you know, with recession and jobs. So we're going to start hearing a lot more about the recession and a lot more about jobs. And where right now they want people on site. They want you to be there, so to see that there is loyalty. So that's going to be very interesting, especially with the newer generation of saying, yeah, why am I, and this is a part of the timeline, why am I putting my energy into you? What do you, sure, I'm getting a paycheck, but is that worthy of my time? Is that worthy of what I want to be doing for, you know, this is breaking away from the old way of thinking, that your duty is to the job. Your duty is to this over here. What is your priority? Right? Where are you putting your priority? I'm not saying to dismiss your job or walk away from your job and whatever, because a lot of people aren't prepared to do that. They're not in that mindset to do that. This is looking at it and saying, you know what, there's a huge energy that's coming in, you know, this younger force, Gen Z, whatever you want to call them, is looking at it and saying, I have a different priority in my life. I want to live my life. I want to participate in the world. I want to become the new farmer. I want to be, but I don't want to have all that land. I don't want to have to take care of all that. I want to do it in a different way. So that's really, you know, when you look at where Mars is, because Mars is in there till the middle of August. in Taurus, setting forth your course, but it's the time it takes. So it's going to take the time to allow for things to grow, for things to foster in order for it to come to the ripened fruit. So that's why I say, when you are planting, when you plant a seed, you don't go the next day and get your tomatoes, or get, whatever you planted. You don't go the next day and there it is. So this is looking at, with the job market and the job situation, is that you're going to be seeing a lot of things changing there. A lot of corporations are wanting to have things done in a certain way, and they want to have that control. Now, things like restaurants and things that are not of high priority, you're going to start to see go away. So when it comes to the hospitality industry, you're going to see the hospitality industry begin to crumble, to fall away, because that's not going to be people's priority. Like if you are invested in Airbnb, I would say sell your stocks. Well, I shouldn't say that because I'm not an investor, but I'm going to say that you might see things starting to decline. That's not going to be people's priority. Right now, it is like where, the talk about everything being environmentally friendly, blah, blah, blah. Well, right now in Europe, they're talking about going back to coal. They're not worried about the environmental influence. They're looking at what is the energy in order to heat my home. Because, winter is only a few months away. Yes, we're in the middle of summer, but this is where we have to start looking at, how am I going to heat my home? What is the best way to heat my home? Do I have a fireplace? Do I have wood for my fireplace? This is about preparation. So things that that are priority for people that are going to be coming in, especially when it comes to jobs, it will be like healthcare, technology, and I can't remember what the other one is. But those two especially are going to be the two top industries that are going to be growing. So this is where also, if you are in a industry that is, say, building, I'm just thinking of anything to do with construction. Construction is going to change in many different ways because either they can't get their supplies. Manufacturing, I think, is going to be the other one. How am I manufacturing what it is that I need? Because I won't be able to get what I need from where I used to get it. So our supply, things are changing. So this also changes how I am creating my reality. I'm creating what it is that I need around me. I'm creating where it is that I want to go. And I'm making sure that I am safe. Safety. Safety is a really big one that's coming in with this energy. How am I creating the safety around me and bringing forth this? So this is where we're going to find, where we have to invest in self and not be invested in the war thing. Yes, it's an awareness. It is not to go around and not understand that it's not there, but it is an awareness. And this is emotionally aligning things with in your life for the highest good. And that's, for myself, it is looking for me, my road is doing readings. My road is spiritual teaching. Doing this is my road. Being here is my road. The job that I'm doing right now is just that. It is just there. It is supplying. It is an investment for me in order to do other things, in order for me to get ahead and to bring in more of a stability that I want to bring forth into my business and my home life. And that's really important. And if I look at it in that way, then it allows for that energy to change. If you get my drift. So if you're looking at, let's say you have a job and you really don't like it, but right now you need it, look at it and say, this is my stepping stone of creating a new abundance for me. I'm open and I bless this job. I bless all that this job is giving me. And I'm opening myself up to the newness and the new abundance that I am wanting to create and manifest. That is allowing for you to step into your highest good. Okay? So when it comes to manifestation and looking at, this is a time of building along my horizon line in order for me to create that expansiveness that I want to have within my life. And what does that mean to me? Because your values and your way of looking at your life is different than mine, right? Where some people will be like, well, I want to have all of this over here. I want the $17 million house. Others are like, nah, I want to have a house. I want to have property. A couple that I know, what they did is that they sold most of their rental their rental properties. They sold the house that they were in, and they combined that all. They were looking for an acreage. They couldn't find it, but what they did find was a older home, but an older home that was improved. The siding, the roof, the furnace, the whole interior was redone, and it sat on a very nice piece of property within the city. And they were able to invest in that, and that brings in a lot of things that they were looking for. They're not far from a park. They're in an older established area. They are feeling, there's a big backyard for the kids. They could still grow their garden. They could still do the things that they want to do, and they're even closer to their jobs. So, which is really cool as well. So there's money being saved there. So this is where it's like, okay, the thing is like when you're manifesting or when you're creating, it won't always turn out exactly the way that you think it will. So that's why you got to be open. You got to be open to allowing for that divine to guide you to something even better, right? Something that is going to bring you to that fullness. Now, when I was thinking of, when I had to move, I kept on thinking of a basement suite, or an upper level basement suite, or upper level. Apartments don't do well with me. I can't. It's too much energy for me. And we did look at one, and it was in the perfect location, yet it wasn't right. It just wasn't right. And this one is quirky. This is a quirky little place, actually. And it's cute, and it's nice, and it's has some really nice little features in it. So this is embracing that quirkiness that I like, because I'm quirky. And, in a good area, a nice area of Calgary that is convenient as well. So we're not far from our old place. We're only 6 minutes away, actually. And we're in a really nice area, which I find great right now. So this is what, I was thinking about this, and I, kind of, even though maybe I wasn't fully thinking about moving 6 months ago, it was there in the back of my mind, because I know my landlords kind of mentioned it to me, that they're selling. So, how things come together, right? And they may not come together exactly the way that you would like them to, but, they do. So this is opening yourself up right now and allowing yourself to begin to create. And especially as we're coming towards that full moon. That full moon in Capricorn is going to be a doozy. And it is going to bring in, again, a lot of emotions, right? Because it's the Cancer sun opposite Capricorn. It's the father-mother energy that's coming in. And then it's going to be very close to Pluto, in an opposition to Pluto. So the moon is going to be right up with Pluto, opposite the sun, at the same point where there was the Saturn and Pluto conjunction, and bringing in a lot. So you're going to also be hearing a lot more about COVID. You're going to be hearing a lot about the fucking monkeypox, and you're going to hear a lot more about that kind of stuff to put you into the fear, to put you into that fear mode, and that is like, to me, it's like, okay, that's done. And the rest of the world, that's not where their priority is. The rest of the world is focused on the war that's coming in, because many people within Europe and in that area are very fearful of what does this mean, the economy, the money, where the money is. We've printed out way too much money. There's too much money circulating in the world. And I know many of you are saying, well, it ain't circulating in my bank account. I don't know who's it circulating in. But part of that is bringing in the recession. And we are also the food supply. So right now, and I was explaining to a few people that the apples that you're buying in the store right now are not fresh. They're last year's crop. For an example. The flour that you buy is from last year's wheat. Okay? So this is where, an awareness, an awakening to say, oh, okay, so this is bringing you to an understanding of how the ebb and flow, how things grow, how, what it is that grows and fades away, and, things like that, to have an understanding. So by October, November, we're looking at the crops that are being grown now. And by, and the fruit that is being grown now, and how those fruits and how those crops are doing, not only within our area, but around the world, and how those resources are around the world. And this is getting us to look at things with a fresher eyes, even though that they are wanting to build the new infrastructures and everything to create environmentally friendly place, so-called, this is this sounds horrible, but this is what I just got, where God has another plan for the world and has another way for the world to go. And we have to trust in this plan that is unfolding. Trust in God that he does know what he's doing. It might seem crazy, but the God and the goddess do know what they're doing, that divine plan. They have an understanding of what's going. They have more of an understanding of what's going on. They're the white hole. They're the white hole. They're the expansiveness, right? They're wanting to bring in that expansiveness. But when you think of it, of you being that expansive energy, it scares the fuck out of you. Because it's like, whoa, I am more powerful than what I really know. I'm more powerful than what I really understand I am. I'd rather be sucked in to this old way and to this fear, because I know that, and it feels comfortable to be in that darkness because you're not exposed. But when you are coming into the whiteness, when you're coming into that purity of the divine light, they see you in your expansive beautifulness. And that's something many of us are not used to being. So we're stepping into the expansiveness of the truth of who we are. And when we step into that, we want to bring in our greatness to create something even better than what we have now. So step into your expansiveness. I know I'm doing it. I'm trying. It's difficult, but man, it takes me a few years, only 58. I'll be 59 this year. It takes me a while. So step into your expansiveness, step into your beauty. And if you are wanting to book a reading, definitely get a hold of me. You can go to thegurumama.com and purchase a reading there, or you could get a hold of me and DM me. And have a blessed one, everybody. And may the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you, and all that you say and all that you be and all that you do. Thank you for being a part of my community. Thank you for allowing me to come into your world each day as I click on and go, and here I am on my lives. Blessings to you all. Thank you to you all. And we'll probably see you guys tomorrow afternoon or so. I do work tomorrow and Friday, so at my little Muggle investment work, and that's what I'm calling it, my Muggle investment job. My Muggle investment job. That's what it is. It's my investment Muggle job. Yes, that's what we're going to call it. So have a blessed one, and we will talk to you guys soon. Blessed be everybody. Bye-bye.